Force yourself to be disciplined is not about being harsh or punishing yourself. It is about understanding that discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. The book explains that motivation is unreliable, it comes and goes, but discipline is something you can build intentionally. Most people wait to feel motivated before taking action, but disciplined people act first and let motivation follow. In the American lifestyle, where distractions like social media, streaming platforms, and comfort are everywhere, discipline becomes a superpower. The book teaches that discipline is not talent, luck, or personality, it is a daily decision. Every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen your discipline muscle. This mindset shifts responsibility back to you, which is empowering, not limiting. Point one of the most important lessons of the book is that willpower is limited. You cannot rely on willpower to carry you through long-term goals like fitness, career growth, or financial freedom. The book explains that disciplined people don't fight temptation all day, they design their environment to reduce it. For example, if you want to eat healthy, don't keep junk food at home. If you want to wake up early, don't sleep with your phone in your bed. This concept is especially relevant in the USA, where convenience is everywhere. Discipline is about systems, not strength. When you create systems that support good behavior, success becomes automatic instead of exhausting. The book emphasizes creating non-negotiable habits. These are small actions you do every day no matter how you feel. It could be 10 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of exercise, or writing one page. The size doesn't matter, consistency does. Americans often aim too big and burn out quickly. This book teaches the opposite approach: start small, stay consistent, and let momentum build. Discipline grows when you keep promises to yourself. Each completed habit becomes proof that you are reliable, and self-trust increases. Over time, these small wins compound into massive personal transformation. A major theme of the book is the battle between discipline and comfort. Comfort feels good now but costs you later. Discipline feels uncomfortable now but rewards you later. The book explains that modern society trains people to avoid discomfort at all costs, but growth only happens through discomfort. Waking up early, saying no to distractions, and doing hard work when no one is watching are all acts of discipline. The book teaches readers to reframe discomfort as a sign of progress. When something feels hard, it usually means it's working. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" the book encourages asking, "Who do I want to become?" Discipline becomes easier when it is tied to identity. If you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions naturally align with that belief. For example, disciplined people don't ask if they should work out, they just do it. This identity shift is powerful, especially in American culture where self-image strongly influences behavior. The book shows that every disciplined action is a vote for the person you want to become. The book strongly connects discipline with professional success. Talent may open doors, but discipline keeps them open. Showing up on time, improving skills daily, and doing deep work without distractions separates average performers from top achievers. In competitive environments like the U.S. job market, discipline is often the deciding factor. The book explains that disciplined people are trusted more, promoted faster, and respected longer. Success is not about working harder, it's about working consistently. Mental discipline is just as important as physical discipline. The book teaches readers how to control attention, avoid overthinking, and stop emotional decision-making. In a world of constant notifications and information overload, focus is rare and valuable. The book suggests setting clear priorities, limiting multitasking, and training the mind to stay present. Discipline means choosing long-term clarity over short-term stimulation. A powerful idea in the book is that discipline is an act of self-respect. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens. Every time you keep one, it grows. Discipline is not about impressing others, it's about honoring your own word. The book explains that people with high self-respect naturally live disciplined lives because they value themselves too much to settle for less. This mindset deeply resonates with audiences who want confidence, stability, and inner strength. The book makes it clear that disciplined people are not perfect. They fail, slip, and make mistakes, but they don't quit. Discipline is about getting back on track quickly, not being flawless. The book teaches readers to remove guilt and focus on progress. One bad day does not ruin your life. What matters is the next decision. This realistic approach makes discipline sustainable instead of overwhelming. The final message of Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is that discipline creates freedom. Financial freedom, time freedom, mental peace, and self-confidence all come from disciplined choices made daily. While undisciplined people chase comfort, disciplined people build lives they don't need to escape from. The book ends with a powerful truth: when you force yourself to be disciplined today, you thank yourself tomorrow. One of the most freeing ideas in Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is the understanding that discipline is not something you are born with, it is something you train. Many people in the United States believe that successful individuals are naturally disciplined, while average people are not. This belief is dangerous because it removes responsibility and creates excuses. The book clearly explains that discipline works like a muscle. When you use it regularly, it becomes stronger. When you avoid it, it becomes weaker. The author emphasizes that even the most disciplined people started with resistance, laziness, and self-doubt. What separated them from others was not talent but repetition. Each day they chose to do what was necessary instead of what was easy. Over time, these choices reshaped their behavior, mindset, and identity. This idea gives hope because it means anyone, regardless of background, age, or past failures, can build discipline through daily practice. The book strongly criticizes the modern obsession with motivation. Motivation feels exciting, but it is temporary and unreliable. You feel motivated after watching a video or reading a quote, but that feeling fades quickly. The book explains that most people fail because they wait to feel ready before acting. Disciplined people act first and let feelings catch up later. This lesson is especially powerful for American audiences who live in a culture driven by instant gratification and emotional comfort. The book teaches that action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you complete a task, even when you don't feel like it, you gain confidence, momentum, and self-respect. Over time, discipline replaces motivation as your primary driving force, making progress stable instead of emotional. Modern life is designed to destroy discipline. Smartphones, social media, streaming platforms, and endless notifications compete for attention every second. The book explains that distraction is not accidental, it is engineered. That's why discipline today is harder than ever, but also more valuable than ever. The book teaches readers to aggressively protect their focus. This includes setting boundaries, limiting screen time, and learning to sit with boredom without escaping into stimulation. Discipline means choosing meaningful discomfort over meaningless comfort. When you control your attention, you control your life. This message deeply resonates with people in the USA who feel overwhelmed, unfocused, and mentally exhausted. One of the most honest parts of the book is its discussion of boredom. Success is built on boring, repetitive actions done consistently over time. Going to the gym, saving money, studying skills, and working on long-term goals are rarely exciting. The book explains that most people fail not because the work is hard, but because it is boring. Disciplined people accept boredom as part of the process. They don't need constant excitement to stay committed. This mindset shift is critical for long-term success. When you stop chasing excitement and start respecting consistency, everything changes. The book teaches that boring discipline produces extraordinary results. Another powerful idea in the book is that discipline creates inner authority. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you begin to trust yourself. This self-trust becomes a source of strength that no external validation can replace. In American culture, where confidence is often associated with loudness or dominance, the book presents a quieter but stronger form of confidence, self-control. Disciplined people don't need approval because they respect themselves. They don't negotiate with weakness because they know who they are. This internal authority influences how others perceive you, how you carry yourself, and how you make decisions under pressure. The book makes it clear that discipline is not just about habits. It is about emotional regulation. Many bad decisions are made in moments of stress, anger, boredom, or sadness. Disciplined people do not let emotions control their actions. They feel emotions but do not obey them blindly. The book teaches readers to pause, reflect, and respond instead of reacting. This skill is life-changing, especially in relationships, finances, and career decisions. Emotional discipline allows you to stay calm under pressure and act according to long-term values instead of short-term feelings. Point one of the strongest arguments in the book is the idea of compounding. Small disciplined actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but over months and years they create massive results. Saving a little money, improving a skill daily, or exercising regularly may not show immediate rewards, but the long-term impact is extraordinary. The book compares discipline to interest in a bank account. It grows slowly at first, then rapidly. This concept helps readers stay patient and committed, even when progress feels invisible. In a world full of uncertainty, discipline becomes an anchor. Jobs change, markets fluctuate, and circumstances shift, but disciplined habits remain. The book explains that discipline gives you control over at least one thing: your actions. This sense of control reduces anxiety and increases confidence. For many Americans dealing with stress, burnout, and uncertainty, discipline offers structure and clarity. It turns chaos into order and fear into direction. The book makes an important distinction between discipline and self-punishment. Discipline is not about hating yourself into improvement. It is about caring enough to do what's best for your future. The author warns against extreme routines driven by guilt or shame. True discipline is firm but fair. It allows rest, recovery, and flexibility while maintaining consistency. This balanced approach makes discipline sustainable instead of destructive. The final extended message of the book is transformation through identity. When you force yourself to be disciplined long enough, it stops feeling forced. Discipline becomes natural. You become the type of person who shows up, follows through, and keeps going, even when it's hard. This identity shift is permanent. The book ends with a powerful truth: success is not achieved by extraordinary effort once, but by ordinary discipline repeated daily. The core message of Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is that discipline is not optional if you want control over your life. In the United States, people are surrounded by freedom, choices, and comfort, but without discipline, these advantages often turn into distractions. The book explains that discipline is what turns freedom into power. Without it, freedom becomes chaos. Many people blame their lack of success on external factors: lack of time, lack of support, or lack of opportunity, but the book makes it clear that the real problem is the lack of self-control. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when it is uncomfortable, boring, or difficult. It means waking up early when you want to sleep, working when you want to relax, and staying consistent when results are slow. Over time, discipline builds structure, and structure builds confidence. When you become disciplined, you stop feeling lost, overwhelmed, and reactive. You start living with intention instead of impulse. Point one of the most powerful ideas in the book is that comfort quietly destroys discipline. Modern life is designed to make everything easy: food delivery, entertainment, social media, and instant gratification. The book explains that comfort feels harmless, but over time it weakens your ability to tolerate effort. When people constantly choose comfort, they lose the ability to push through resistance. Discipline requires the willingness to feel temporary discomfort in exchange for long-term benefits. The book teaches readers to stop asking, "What feels good right now?" and start asking, "What will benefit my future?" This shift is critical for American audiences because comfort culture is deeply normalized. The book does not say to eliminate comfort completely, but it warns against building a life around it. Growth begins where comfort ends, and discipline is the tool that allows you to cross that line again and again. The book strongly emphasizes that discipline is not just about results, it is about identity. Every disciplined action sends a message to your mind: I can trust myself. Every undisciplined action sends the opposite message. Over time, these messages shape your self-image. The book explains that people with strong discipline don't rely on motivation or external pressure because their behavior is aligned with who they believe they are. In American society, where confidence is often confused with loudness or appearance, the book presents a deeper form of confidence: self-respect. Discipline is self-respect in action. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows naturally. You no longer need validation from others because your self-worth comes from your consistency. This internal strength becomes visible in how you speak, work, and carry yourself. Another major theme of the book is that discipline beats talent over time. Many people in the USA grow up believing that success depends on intelligence, luck, or natural ability. The book completely rejects this idea. Talent may give you a head start, but discipline determines how far you go. The most successful people are not the most gifted, they are the most consistent. They show up when others quit. They practice when others procrastinate. They improve slowly while others wait for shortcuts. The book explains that discipline compounds, meaning small daily efforts add up to massive results over time. This is especially important in careers, business, fitness, and personal growth. Discipline creates reliability, and reliability creates success. When people know they can count on you, opportunities follow naturally. The book ends with a powerful truth: discipline does not restrict your life, it frees it. Undisciplined people are controlled by impulses, emotions, and circumstances. Disciplined people control their actions, habits, and direction. Financial freedom comes from disciplined spending and saving. Mental peace comes from disciplined thinking. Time freedom comes from disciplined routines. The book explains that when you force yourself to be disciplined today, you are protecting your future self. At first, discipline feels like pressure, but over time it becomes peace. You stop fighting yourself. You stop starting over. You become stable, focused, and dependable. This is the kind of freedom most people want but few are willing to earn. Discipline is the price, and the reward. One of the deepest truths explained in Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is that life will be hard no matter what, but discipline allows you to choose which hard you want to face. Discipline is hard in the moment, waking up early, staying consistent, saying no to distractions, and doing work without immediate rewards. But the absence of discipline creates a much harder life later: financial stress, poor health, broken confidence, and constant regret. The book explains that many people in the United States unknowingly choose short-term comfort and long-term suffering. Discipline flips this equation. When you force yourself to act with discipline today, you reduce pain tomorrow. This idea changes how you see effort. Effort is no longer punishment, it is protection. Discipline protects your future, your peace of mind, and your self-respect. The book teaches that disciplined people are not special, They are simply willing to endure short-term discomfort so they don't have to live with long-term consequences. The book explains that most people lose battles in life not because they are weak, but because they constantly negotiate with their own mind. I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. Just one more break. This inner negotiation destroys discipline. Force yourself to be disciplined teaches that discipline begins when the mind learns to obey clear decisions instead of debating them. Disciplined people decide once and act repeatedly. They do not ask themselves every day whether they feel like doing the work. In American culture, feelings are often treated as authority, but the book challenges this idea directly. Feelings are temporary and unreliable. Discipline is built when action is based on values and goals, not emotions. Over time, the mind becomes quieter, stronger, and more focused. When your mind stops arguing, your energy increases. Life becomes simpler because decisions are already made. Modern life in the USA is fast, uncertain, and constantly changing. Jobs are unstable, attention is fragmented, and stress levels are high. The book explains that discipline creates stability when everything else feels unpredictable. Daily routines, habits, and standards give structure to your life. When you know what you do every day, your mind feels safer and calmer. Discipline reduces anxiety because it replaces uncertainty with order. Instead of reacting to every situation emotionally, disciplined people rely on systems. They wake up at the same time, work on their priorities first, and protect their energy. The book shows that discipline is not rigid, it is grounding. It gives you a sense of control in a world that often feels out of control. This stability allows you to grow steadily instead of constantly starting over. The book draws a clear line between people who want a better life and people who build one. Many people dream, plan, and talk, but few execute consistently. Discipline is the difference. The book explains that disciplined people are builders. They show up even when progress is invisible. They keep working when praise is absent. They understand that results lag behind effort. In the United States, where success stories are often shown without the boring process behind them, this message is critical. Discipline teaches patience. It teaches you to respect time and trust the process. Builders don't chase shortcuts, they commit to fundamentals. Over months and years, discipline compounds into skills, confidence, and results that look impressive from the outside but were built quietly through repetition. The most powerful transformation described in Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is the shift from forced discipline to natural discipline. At first, discipline feels uncomfortable because it goes against old habits. But when practiced consistently, discipline becomes part of who you are. You no longer struggle to do the right thing, it becomes automatic. This is where true freedom begins. You are no longer controlled by impulses, excuses, or external pressure. You trust yourself. You respect yourself. You move through life with clarity and confidence. The book concludes with a powerful idea. When discipline becomes your identity, life becomes lighter, not heavier. You stop fighting yourself. You stop quitting on yourself. You become someone who finishes what they start. This is not just success, it is inner peace. One of the strongest lessons in Force Yourself to Be Disciplined is that real discipline shows up in private, not in public. Anyone can look productive when people are watching, but discipline is revealed in quiet moments, early mornings, late nights, and boring routines where no applause exists. The book explains that success is built in isolation long before it is recognized publicly. Many people in the United States chase validation, likes, and external approval, but discipline asks for something deeper: integrity. Integrity means doing what you said you would do, even when quitting would be easier and unnoticed. When you develop this kind of discipline, your character becomes strong. You no longer need pressure from others to perform. You become self-driven. Over time, this private discipline creates public results that look impressive but were built silently through consistency. The book strongly emphasizes that disciplined people are masters of delayed gratification. They understand that saying no now often means saying yes to a better future. In a culture where everything is instant, food, entertainment, shopping, and information, this skill is rare and powerful. The book explains that undisciplined people sacrifice the future for the present, while disciplined people sacrifice the present for the future. This applies to money, health, relationships, and career. Skipping workouts, overspending, procrastinating, or avoiding hard conversations feels good in the moment but creates long-term problems. Discipline trains you to think beyond today. It strengthens your ability to tolerate discomfort without escaping. This mental strength separates people who stay stuck from people who steadily move forward.